Hi, Darren Hunter here, and we are also with Dennis Yusuf. We are from Inspired Growth Training, where we help property management businesses across the planet to grow their business, of course, to grow their fee income as well. Now, today we are tackling 3 scripts that will help you to overcome those common fee objections like, well, if you can match your fee with the other agent down the road, or the other agent will do it cheaper, or the other agent will discount, why can't you? And we know these scripts are going to help you. Now, with all scripts, you've got to learn them by rote. So you really have to, whether you write them down, record them on your phone, listen to them over and over in the car, because when you're in the heat of a listing appointment and you're challenged with a fee objection, you want these scripts to come out naturally, and they've got to come out with your words. So just understand the concepts that we are talking about.
What you're saying, Darren, is during a listing presentation, you can't run to the car and say, hang on a minute, let me listen to CD2, section 3, because that's where Dennis and Darren were talking about those scripts. So
Correct.
You've got to make it.
Correct. You've got to learn them, yet they have to become you. So the best way is understand the concepts of argument and persuasion, and then understand what you're trying to say. And then format in your own words, but you've got to do it through practice. So let's get started. Now, the first script, this one is useful for, well, the other agent will do it cheaper. Why can't you? And we actually call this fees adjusted to service. And it's pretty simple. It's a very, very popular one. And I'm just going to paraphrase. You'll see the scripting in the actual article itself. But look, Mr. Smith, we are well aware of what other agents are charging, but did you know that they know what our fees are too? But despite knowing our charges, and also for the fact they still have to sign up new business, what they've done instead is adjusted their fees down to what their level of service is. So just understand the concept of that script. Dennis, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, look, it is a really good one, because realistically, every agency out there should know what other agencies are charging. And, and they might look, oh, wow, they're expensive. But, you've got to be looking at, yes, they might be expensive, but what other services are they doing? They know their worth. They understand their worth. They believe that's what they're charging. And it's always those agencies that charge less that believe that's the worth that they're
correct.
At.
That's the clincher there.
Service.
That is the clincher, because your fees that you are charging represent what you believe you are worth. If you charged less than that, you wouldn't feel good about it. But the other agency who is charging less than you, they've simply set them at the limit of what they believe they are worth as well. So they actually believe that their service levels are less than yours. So the fees the fee levels actually indicate the type or quality of service the owner should expect. So that script is simply reflecting that fact. All right, let's move on. Now, the next one is called matching services. And this is really good for if you can match your fee with the other agent down the road, or the other agent will do it cheaper. And I got this script idea from a guy called George, who I met in Las Vegas when I was there at a national conference. And George was driving me around the suburbs, showing me the typical real estate in the area. And I said, George, how do you deal with this particular objection? And George, you can actually have a look at the scripting in this particular article, but I'm going to give you George's version. Now, George is a very direct sort of a guy, really good at property management. So he's very, very confident in his services that he delivers. And his response was, look, Mr. Smith, can I just confirm you're wanting me to match my fees with the other agent's level, with the other agent as well? Is that correct? Yes. Look, if you want me to match their fees, I'm also going to have to match their service levels too. Are you happy if your emails don't get returned? Are you happy for your phone calls not to get returned? Are you happy if there's any emergency maintenance that needs to be done, that we'll just ignore it? Because that is typically what my competitors do. And therefore, if you're asking for me to match my fees with their level of service, then obviously we're going to have to drop our level of service to match that too, which we can't. We're very proud in what we deliver. Therefore, we've got to charge the fees in line with our level of service. What do you think of that one?
I really like Yeah, I do like it. And because what's happening is George is actually touching on those hot points of why people are always having concerns with their current management. You know, one of the ones I used to get, you know, when someone rings up and says, I'm not happy with my current agent, you know, what do you charge? And, you know, we charge 8.8%, you know, including GST and blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, you know, I'm currently paying 7. And so you wanting me to give you our level of service, which you have already agreed in our conversation that you can see that we're far better, but you want me to charge on their fees. So the reason why you're happy is you're not getting our level of service, and that's why you've called me. But then, you know, it's important to then add in and show the client how you're saving them money for using you, you know. So look, they're great ways. I love that he's touching those sore points for the clients.
Let's talk about the last script now. And this is all about the negotiation process. And this is a script that I believe Tom Hopkins, who was a real estate guru in the 1980s, came out with this script. So it's been around a long time, and it's a classic that's been respun for property management. And the concept is simply that if the other agent was quick to discount, what does that actually demonstrate about their ability to negotiate should the tenant also want a discount on their rental income? So with that in mind, let's just take a look at this script, and we'll just go along the lines of, look, Mr. Smith, if the other agent was quick to panic and drop their fees that quickly, what does that demonstrate about their ability to negotiate? And if they list your property and your tenant comes along and wants a lower rent and wants you to discount your rent, what does that then say that they're going to do? With us, you need to be confident that you've got a good negotiator, that if your tenant wants a discount, you know that we're going to get you the very, very best rate. That's why we need to negotiate the best fee for us. So again, getting into negotiation concept, what do you think, Dennis?
Well, Darren, negotiating, you know, they can actually add, you know, once you list your property with us, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, our negotiating skills start straight away. You know, my job is to call the photographer, negotiate why they've got to get to your property quicker than the rival agency. I've then got to negotiate with the prospective tenant that they need to come and visit your home and have a look at it over the rival agency. Once they're approved, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've then got to negotiate with those tenants why they need to move in earlier, because they don't want to move in for 2 or 3 weeks' time, but my job is to fill your property quicker. And then once they move in, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my job is to negotiate. No, they can't have the 5 dogs, 3 cats, 6 bunnies, and 4 budgerigars and an alligator and a crocodile. And no, they can't have 6 cars. And yes, they've got to pay the rent. They've got to allow us. So it's continued negotiating. You know, you could also talk about the hot points like on that last script that you gave with George. Again, because it's all about negotiating. Property managers negotiate. And Darren, if I can add, one of the key reasons BDMs, property managers, don't win the listing is because they don't sell their services. And negotiating is all about selling your services.
Well done, Dennis. So again, have a look at the article, everybody. You'll see the scripts that are there. You know, just understand the concepts, all right? Understand the persuasion, understand the argument that you're putting forward, get them into your own words, just practice it, and you'll find you're going to make a much better difference with getting the business and winning your fees as well. You don't have to crumple simply because the owner wants to ask for a discount. Everyone's going to ask for a discount. It's all part of the fun of real estate. Play the game along, have a great response. It's all about how you respond that determines your results at the end of the day. So guys, we're all done. Thank you very much. And Dennis, thank you so much for helping out with that the article as well.
No problem. Everyone continue to learn and know your worth and keep your fees up.
Take care.